Everyone, thank you for viewing my YouTube channel. My name is Tawanda and my friends call me Tutu and I love to create. So first let me just apologize about the last video. I completely forgot to plug in my mic. So this time I am plugged, I made sure. So we should be all set. Now let's continue our project, which we're actually wrapping down today, should be the end in this episode, of the superhero inspired Henley t-shirt. Mine of course was Black Panther. So again, I'm gonna show you guys, this is the design of it. All right. And this is what I have so far. So I don't know if you can see, oh yeah, maybe right there with that light is good. So you can see that I've already did my appliques and I added the silver ones, claw marks around the top. I'm not so sure about if I like them or not, but oh well, they're on there now. So now the next thing for us to do is to add the collar. So you can get your collar piece that you traced out and follow the instructions that are with the pattern on how to sew it in. So remember, I want to use the shiny side as my right side for the collar. Okay. So I'm going to fold it in half and then pin so I can sew the seam. Oh yes, before I forget, let me show you guys this. This here is the like instructions, plastic instructions that come with the heat and bond that you can buy by the yard from Joann's. And that's what I use to apply my appliques. All right. So for this, it's not necessary for us to use a zigzag stitch because it's really not gonna have any stretch to it, that seam in particular. So we're just gonna use a straight stitch. Okay, so now I'm going to switch camera angles so you can watch me pin this around the edge of my neckline and sew it on. All right, so now we have our collar and this is going to be my right side. So I'm going to fold it in half. And what I like to do is go ahead and apply pins around the unfolded edge. So for me, that makes it easier for me to pin it around my neckline when it's already folded. All right, I'm almost finished. All right, so it should look something like this with pins all the way around. All right, so with right side, well, first let's see, let's find that center seam. So this seam here, you probably can't see it, but that you use to sew the collar together is going to act as your center of your back of the shirt. So let's find my back center. Now you can find that by like folding it in half and lining up the seams of the seams that you use to sew the sleeves to the back. All right, to find the center to the back. All right, I like to put a pin for placement so I know where I'm going to line that seam up with. All right, so with right sides together. Okay, here we go. We're going to start pinning it on. Now the pattern instructions calls for about 3/8 seam allowance when stitching around here. I'm going to probably go like 1/4. Just because that's what I do. I can never find like 3/8 of an inch on it easily, so. All right. Oh, and another thing. I like to also locate the center of the collar. So then that way I can line it up with the center of my front. And we do that because the collar is going to be smaller than the opening of the shirt. So that way you can distribute the stretch evenly on both sides. All right, so let's find the center. All right. So you're going to have to stretch the shirt to fit it within the circumference of the collar. That you hear is my cat Maxine. Not sure what she's whining about over there. Okay. We're going to see how this works because we might have to make a bigger collar, but we'll see. Sewing is a lot about trial and error. You will make mistakes, that's a given. I've been sewing for for a lot of years, probably more years than most of my viewers will be, and I make mistakes all the time. All right. Let's see. Stretch, stretch. We shall see. Probably need to stretch some more. All right, so let's distribute. All right, almost done with one side, gonna start the other side. Okay, all right, so I got one side done. So it'll look something like that with a bunch of pins in it. So it's now time for me to do the other side. Okay, I'm gonna do the other side off camera. Be right back. Okay, so now I went ahead and pinned everything all around the collar. Okay, now I went ahead and changed my presser foot from the on the machine to my walking foot, because remember I was having issues with pushing this buckskin side, the shiny side, through the feed balk. All right, so for this I'm going to remove my quilting bed so that I can use the free arm of the machine to sew my collar. And it's also good to show like regular sleeves that are not like rattling Henley ones like this. All right, so we're going to start with the narrow zigzag. Let's see. We're going to go in. Here we go. All right, I said don't forget that you need to stretch it, pull it taut as you're sewing it so there won't be any gathers. All right. Well, my stitches are coming out a little bigger than I wanted, but That's okay. Okay, so I hit a needle and I broke my needle. All right, so now it's time to change my needle. That would happen a lot. Actually, not a lot to me, breaking the needles, but it happens. All right. So this is what my collar looks like so far. I only have about maybe a quarter left to sew. So let me change my needle and we can continue. A little tip, home sewing needles have a flat side and a rounded side. Industrial needles are rounded all the way around. So that's how you can tell if you have a home needle or an industrial machine needle. But then again, I think maybe some home needles have them rounded. I haven't ran into any, but it could be a possibility. All right, so let's get back in business here. Alright, so I have to make sure that I backtrack over what was sewn right prior to when the needle broke. Oh, it's also never good to be like this when you're sewing, because if a needle break, it will fly in your eye. I've had plenty of incidents where I was really close sewing and a needle hit me like here or like here. Another option is if you're going to be that close, you can always wear safety goggles or wear your glasses if you have them. All right. And I'm done. All right, so I will continue on the next video on how we're going to hem the shirt and let's see, hem the sleeves, sew the shirt together, and hem the bottom of the shirt. So I'll be right back.